Darling, you sitting there watching this video are probably thinking you need to work like a convict to get rich, sweating through every strand of your freshly styled hair, sacrificing your weekends, and living on ramen noodles while your boss buys his 5th vacation home. If that is your plan, let me warn you, you are doing everything wrong. I am Duchess Dollars, and believe me, there is a much smarter way to build wealth without ruining your hair. Let us talk seriously. While you are working 80 hours a week, in your cubicle, truly rich women are waking up at 10 in the morning, sipping their matcha lattes and building empires. The difference? They understood that the path to wealth is no longer that outdated model of work until you die. The game has changed, darling, and so have the rules. Have you noticed how millionaire men are always surrounded by intelligent women? It is no coincidence. While you are trying to understand what an investment fund is, some of us have already understood that the best investment is a good marriage contract. I always say, darling, I do not love money. I just recognize its utility, like I appreciate air conditioning on a hot day. It is a necessity, not an obsession. Now, of course, you could follow the easy path and simply marry rich. After all, as I always say, if I had to choose between being happy or being rich, I would rather cry in my private jet on the way to Europe. But I know that not everyone had the strategic vision I had when I met my dear Mr. Millionaire during a polo match. I know what you are thinking. Duchess, not all of us have access to polo games. Well, darling, that is exactly why I created this channel. So you stop attending happy hours in second-rate bars and start circulating where the real millionaires are. Expensive hotel restaurants? Order a coffee and stay there for hours. Golf. Courses? Snag a part-time job at the sports shop. Be creative. So let us discuss how you can build your own fortune with a more, shall we say, feminine approach. Without that hustle culture business that only leaves you with dark circles under your eyes and no time to use that fake Chanel bag you bought from the street vendor. Let us raise the standard, darling. You deserve to own Chanel, not just a cheap replica. What is keeping you poor? First thing you need to understand, your financial block is not accidental. Do you know why? Because until 1974, women in the United States could not even open a bank account without a man's permission. That is right. Just 50 years ago, we needed male unauthorization to manage our own money. We are carrying generational wounds, darling. That is why so many women still feel uncomfortable with the idea of having their own business or making a lot of money. They do not feel qualified. They are afraid of being seen. They do not believe in their value. Or they think they need to suffer to get rich. Do you know why most women continue to earn less than men? Because we have been conditioned to believe we need to earn money through sweat, while men simply decide they deserve it. I deserve this raise, says the mediocre man who barely knows how to turn on a computer. I need to take another course before asking for a raise, says the woman who saved the company 3 times this month. I remember when a follower told me, Duchess, I do not have an MBA. How can I make money? And I replied, darling, do you think rich men wait to have an MBA before starting? They simply start and figure out the rest along the way. While we are studying to be perfect, they are building empires with mediocre confidence. It is like I tell my puppy Chanel every morning while putting on her pearl collar. Mommy was not born rich, but decided she deserved to be. And you, darling? Are you still waiting for someone to give you permission to be rich? Are you still dating that boy who splits the restaurant bill with you? When he splits the bill, he is basically saying, I do not value you enough to invest in you. And worse, you are agreeing with him. Here is the naked truth. If you want to build wealth, you need to leave that limiting mindset behind. Those beliefs are keeping you broke. And remember, poverty is a mental state, and mental state can be changed more easily than marital status. Believe me, I went through 3 husbands to prove this theory. As I always say, it is never too late to stop being a fool. The secret of new wealth, visibility. One of the biggest secrets to building wealth today is visibility. In the digital age, the barrier to becoming visible has never been lower. In the past, being noticed meant relying on traditional routes, networking, referrals, being in the right place at the right time. But today, the game has completely changed. You can build an entire business from your couch without even needing to put on high heels. But the point is that you, or at least your product or service, needs to be seen. I see women out there hiding their talents as if they were something shameful. I do not want to seem conceited, they say. Darling, men have been self-promoting since they left the womb. While you are afraid to post a photo on LinkedIn, mediocre men are presenting themselves as experts in subjects they barely know. Visibility is the new leverage. It is the new currency. It is how you amplify your business, your impact, and your income. It is working smarter, not harder. And that, darling, is pure feminine energy. When you become visible, you do not need to chase opportunities. You begin to attract them. That is feminine energy. When you appear online, if that is what you choose to do, you can do it on your own terms, in your own vibe. In my house with my pink lights, with my Chanel, my puppy, not the bag, waking up at 8:30, not 5 in the morning. That is feminine energy. But Duchess, I am ashamed to show myself online. And I am ashamed to see you still driving that economy car when you could be in a Land Rover. Shame is not paying your bills, is it? Let me give you a practical example. There are women earning millions just because they know how to put together a cute outfit and find the best clothing deals each season. They take a little mirror selfie, post it, and the money starts rolling in. That is their genius. Simple, right? But if most men tried to do that, they would miserably fail. Oh, and if you think I am just making things up, Forbes magazine itself reported that the digital influencer market exceeded $16 billion in 2022. And women dominate this space. I am not saying you need to be an influencer, but I am pointing out how times have changed. I have a friend who was a teacher earning a pittance. She was making a difference in society. For minimum wage. She started showing on social media how she decorated her classroom on a low budget. Today, she has a product line for teachers, gives lectures, and earns 15 times more than she earned teaching. All because she decided to be visible. And the best part, while I am sleeping on my 1,500 thread count Egyptian silk sheets, my business continues working for me. My videos reach new people, I continue expanding my audience, making sales, and helping people while I sleep. The digital world means my visibility does not stop at 5 in the afternoon when I finish work, which, let us be honest, rarely happens before 2 in the afternoon in my case. As I tell Mr. Millionaire, working is not for everyone, dear. The Feminine Wealth Framework, Part 1, Align with your genius. Do not worry. You do not need to be an Einstein to make a lot of money. I am talking about finding your natural talent. Those things that come naturally to you, that you are good at, that seem effortless. But here is the detail. Because it is your natural talent, you often underestimate it because it seems so natural. You might think, this is nothing special, everyone can do this. But the truth is that no, not everyone can. Do you know that friend who always calls you for relationship advice? She could be charging $200 per session as a relationship coach, or the one who always knows exactly what gift to buy for each person. She could have a personal shopper service, and the one who organizes her house in a way that seems magical. Hello, Netflix has an entire show about that. The things that come most naturally to you are often the same ones that will make you the most money and create the biggest impact. Let us take my person as an example. I was born to be rich. I have a natural talent for spending money and living well. So I turned that into a business. Genius, right? I remember when a friend of mine, who is now a millionaire obviously, I only hang out with those who elevate my standards, was frustrated because she did not know what her talent was. She spent hours and hours making budget spreadsheets for all her friends for free. I said, darling, you are good with numbers and organization, and you are giving it away for free? People are literally asking you to charge. Today, she has a financial consulting company for women and drove to lunch with me in her Porsche. And if you are still thinking, but I am not good at anything, stop that immediately. Everyone is good at something. If you do not know what your natural talent is, do this exercise. Ask people who know you well. Your mother, sister, best friend, your partner. What do you think I am naturally good at? What seems easy for me? And listen carefully to the I responses. Often, our genius is so natural that we do not even notice it. For me, besides spending Mr. Millionaire's money, I love learning new things, especially related to human behavior and psychology, and explaining them in a way that makes sense to people. When I do research for the videos I want to make, sometimes I feel literally drugged because it gives me such a high. As I say, rich people work with glamour, poor people work with sweat. Which do you prefer? I am milli-sexual. I am only attracted to those who are millionaires. But I am also genius sexual. I am only attracted to people who are living in their zone of genius. Nothing sexier than seeing someone doing what they were born to do, except maybe a black card. But you get the idea. Building wealth the feminine way means making money in alignment with who you are. When you act in alignment with who you are, everything becomes effortless and you begin to get paid for being yourself. Therefore, connect with your zone of genius. Own it, pursue it, and stop doubting your value. As the Bible says, and yes, even God agrees with me, ask and you shall receive. Only you should ask big. While other women are asking for enough to pay the bills, I am asking for R enough to buy the company that issues the bills. Part 2. Serve before selling. Think about the energy with which you approach business and making money. Instead of, how can I take? Ask yourself, how can I serve? How can I help people? How can I solve a problem? How can I make someone's life easier today? Now, do not misunderstand me. I am not saying for you to become a volunteer or do charity work. Leave that to those who split the bill at restaurants. I am talking about an intelligent strategy. It is like I used to say to my second husband when he asked why I needed another credit card. It is not an expense, dear. It is an investment in my future well-being. And when you start asking that specific question, not how can I make money, but how can I serve, you move away from chasing and hustling and instead start creating value in a way that feels aligned, authentic, and most importantly, sustainable for you. This does not mean you need to have the perfect product or the perfect sales pitch. But think about this. Can you help someone solve a problem they are probably searching on Google at 2 in the morning? Can you simplify something super complicated and make it easier for someone to understand? Can you share a tip or resource that could make someone's day a little better? Let me give you an example. I could simply post photos of my mansion and my imported cars to show how rich I am. But instead, I created this channel to teach you how to be rich too. Why? First, because I am a generous soul. Laughs. Second, because helping other women get rich makes me feel good. And third, let us be honest, because it brought me an extremely lucrative new income stream. Win-win, as my friend Warren would say. The other day, a follower sent me a message. Duchess, I started applying your tips about how to find rich men at golf games, and guess what? I met a plastic surgeon. Now she not only has a rich boyfriend, but also got that rhinoplasty she wanted so much. Serve before selling, darlings. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are ready to start building your business. And remember, the goal is not to chase and pressure, but to attract and serve. This is the feminine path to wealth. As I always say, our love language is money. But to receive it, you first need to offer something of value. Part 3. Take care of yourself. The traditional approach to making money glorifies suffering. Work harder, sacrifice more, sleep on a floor mattress, and eat instant noodles every day until you burn out. Would that be the path to building real wealth? No way. One day I was having brunch with my friends, all rich, of course. I am not one to mix with poor people, the energy is different. And one of them said, I am so exhausted from working 14 hours a day in my business. I looked at her and said, darling, you look like a poor person. Rich works maximum 4 hours a day, and at least 2 of them are at the gym sculpting that body that will attract more opportunities. That is not the feminine way to make money. It is not the woman's way. The feminine works by attracting, not chasing. But to attract, our energy needs to be high. We need to take care of ourselves. We need nourishment and rest. We need to ensure we are in energetic alignment with our higher selves. I remember when I started my channel, people told me, Duchess, you need to post every day, record videos constantly, respond to every comment. I replied, darling, I do not need dark circles, I need results. I decided I would only post when I was rested, beautiful, and inspired. Result? My channel grew 3 times faster than creators who posted daily looking like zombies. You do not always need to work more to make more. I am not saying you will never have to make short-term sacrifices. There probably will be some. But making money is not just about hard work. If it were, there would be many more rich people on this planet. As I always say, I only accept financial advice from those who have more money than me. I only accept relationship advice from those who have the relationship I want, and I only accept career advice from those who have already arrived where I want to go. And guess what? None of these people is exhausted. There are many people working hard and still struggling. Look at that guy from your work who arrives at 7 and leaves at 8 in the evening. Is he closer to being promoted or to having a nervous breakdown? Probably the second. But think about this. If you are living in a chronic state of stress and scarcity, you will not be able to provide value. You will not be able to create. You will not be able to attract opportunities. You will not be able to present your best. And you will not be able to align with that version of yourself that you are trying to become. I remember when I met my third husband, before Mr. Millionaire, of course. I was at a spa in Aspen, completely rested, radiant, with hydrated skin, and wearing an expensive perfume. He owned half the city. Do you think we would have connected if I had been exhausted after 12 hours of work, with coffee spilled on my clothes? Never. As women, we are naturally more sensitive to stress. This is biology, darling. I'm not saying we are weaker. Our cycles and hormones are always changing. We do things differently, taking care of ourselves first and nourishing ourselves first. That way we can show up with the energy we want to have. And here is the thing. Nobody cares how many hours you work. Nobody cares when or how you work. All that matters is the value you bring. It does not matter if that thing took 1 hour of your time or 1 year. Nobody cares. People are not paying for your time. They are paying for the transformation or benefit they are receiving. The other day, a follower asked me, "Duchess, how do you accomplish so much in so few working hours?" Simple, darling. I delegate everything that is not my genius. I hire people to do what they are good at, while I focus only on what only I can do. But Duchess, that costs money. Yes, and it also costs money to lose opportunities because you are too busy doing $10 per hour tasks when you could be generating $10,000 per hour ideas. The feminine needs nourishment and care. That is how we thrive. The B, feminine needs safety and nervous system regulation. That is how we thrive. That is how we create. That is how we make money. That is how we add value. That is how we can then nourish others. That is how we use our intuition to shortcut to success. I need to get up at 10 in the morning to go to the gym. Working on Thursday is only if I were greedy. Monday is the new Friday. That is my rich routine, and guess what? It does not prevent me from making money. In fact, it helps me make more. The women who are creating sustainable wealth know this. Rest and nourishment are an essential part of the process. They know that rest is part of what makes their success sustainable. As I say to my puppy Chanel every morning while we apply our gold facial mask, Mommy does not need dark circles, she needs millions. Part 4. Show up, take action, and be seen. This is the part most people want to skip. Actually doing the thing. Whether building your own business, freelancing, or just testing a creative idea, money flows where momentum goes. Therefore, you need to move from planning to practice. And look, I love a good journaling session. I love a good vision board. I love repeating, "I am abundant" to myself in the mirror in the morning. But if you are just talking about your dream business, your dream income, your dream lifestyle, and not really moving toward it, then nothing will change. As my grandmother, who was the first millionaire in the family, used to say, visualization without action is just expensive hallucination. I know so many intelligent women who have brilliant ideas and never implement them. I am waiting for the perfect moment, they say. Darling, the perfect moment is as real as the orgasm your poor boyfriend thinks he gives you. It does not exist. Rich men do not wait for the perfect moment. They create the moment. At some point, you have to stop thinking about it and actually do it. You have to allow yourself to be seen. You have to put yourself out there and see what works. You need to be okay with not knowing what you are doing and just doing it anyway. And you have to put action behind that vision. I have a friend who wanted to start a natural cosmetics business. She spent 2 years researching, planning, creating a perfect business plan. Do you know what happened? While she was planning, 3 other brands entered the market with similar concepts and established themselves. When she finally launched, it seemed like a copy of the others, all because she did not have the courage to be the first. So let me say this clearly. Talking about your dream is not the same as building it. Planning your content is not the same as posting it. Saying you want abundance is not really the same thing as creating an offer, product, or service so people can buy. You want a luxury lifestyle without being married to a millionaire yet? Start creating a luxury-related product. Sell a course on how to look rich when you are not yet. That is what half of my followers are doing, and they are making a lot of money. Create a guide to the best champagnes under $50. Build a personal shopping business for emerging women. Do something. And the difference between women who stay stuck and women who start building wealth is that one of them starts executing and showing up. And here's the thing. You can have the best product or the best service in the world, or the most interesting creative ideas, or the most helpful advice, but if nobody knows about it, if nobody hears it, it does not matter. You will not get anywhere. You will not make any money. So show up, take action, and be seen. Become visible. Stop hiding your shine, your talent, your genius. You are not doing the world any favors by staying small and invisible. And you are definitely not doing your bank account any favors. But Duchess, you say, I am afraid of being judged. Darling, people will judge you anyway. They can judge you for being poor or for being rich. Why not choose the second option? As I always say, I only play if the prize is a millionaire husband or a private island. Otherwise, my love, I prefer to bet on myself. And that is exactly what I am asking you to do. Bet on yourself. Practical tips to get started. Tip 1, create a channel for abundance. You will not make money until you create a way for people to pay you. Simple as that. If you want to bring money into your life, You need to create an easy channel for the universe to bring abundance into your life. And how do you do that? By creating an offer. Now, an offer is just something people can say yes to. It is how you get paid for the value you are putting out into the world, whether a service you provide, a product you create, or a skill you offer as a freelancer. Did you know I sold my first ebook on how to find a rich husband even before I finished writing it? I created a sales page, set the price, and said there would be a launch schedule. When 200 women bought in the first 24 hours, then I actually sat down to write. That is called market validation, darling. See, most women want to create the perfect product before announcing it. Men do not do that. Elon Musk announces cars that do not even exist yet, and people line up to give him money. And between us, I have a secret crush on him that my husband, Mr. Millionaire, cannot dream of. Your offer does not need to be perfect or complicated. It just needs to be something simple, clear, and that people can say yes to. That is how your zone of genius becomes monetizable and how things start. But Duchess, you say, I do not know what to offer. Start with the basics: your expertise, your time, your creativity. Do you know how to cook? Offer a customized weekly menu for busy women. Do you know how to dress well? Offer virtual style consulting. Are you good at makeup? Do a workshop on how to look rich even when you are not. What do people already ask you for free? Start charging for that. Tip 2. Choose your visibility channel. You do not need to be everywhere. You do not need to be on every social media platform trying to spread yourself thin. Focus on the visibility channel that works for you, the one that feels natural and exciting. When I launched this channel, my team, whom I hired with Mr. Millionaire's card, obviously, insisted I needed to be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and even that thing called Threads that lasted 3 days. Do you know what I said? Darlings, the Duchess only appears where the Duchess shines. I chose YouTube because I love talking. And look, here I am reaching millions of women who want to be rich like me. Maybe it is YouTube if you love long content and connecting with people through video. Or maybe you are a writer and feel drawn to Substack. Or love TikTok because you adore the idea of short moments. Or perhaps you love personal connections and show up at networking events and conferences. The key is to choose one channel to focus on first. That is it. Just one. And commit to showing up consistently, providing value, and building relationships there. I remember a follower who was trying to build a career coaching business. She was on 7 different platforms and felt exhausted. Duchess, I am not growing anywhere, she lamented. I said, darling, you are scattering your energy like you are poor. Choose one platform and become its queen. She chose LinkedIn, abandoned everything else, and 6 months later, she already had a waiting list of clients. And if after you master one platform, you want to expand to another, great. But start by mastering one. As I tell Mr. Millionaire, when he wants another yacht, dear, let us enjoy what we already have before adding more things to maintain. Tip 3. Focus on connection. Not just on conversion and making sales, but on connection. Because remember, the feminine is relationship-oriented. The biggest mistake I see women making when starting a business or career is trying to sound like an investment bank. All formal, all corporate, all boring. Darling, if you are trying to sound like a bank, you will attract only people who like banks. And who likes banks? Nobody. You do not need to be perfect to be visible. You do not need to try to sound like a perfect polished brand, know everything, and be an absolute guru in what you do. Just talk like a human being. I myself made that mistake when I started. I thought I needed to sound like an ultra-serious finance expert. Do you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Only when I started being myself, glamorous, exaggerated, sometimes ridiculous, but always authentic, did my audience start to grow. Once I posted a video about how I invested in designer bags as a way to diversify my portfolio. A Birkin appreciates more than gold, darlings. The video ended with me spilling champagne on my new bag and having a comic mini collapse. Do you know which video was the most shared on my channel that year? Exactly that one. People connect with humanity, not with perfection. Build real connection. Provide real, genuine value. That is how people start to know you. That is how people start to trust you. And trust is what leads to connection, community, and eventually sales, referrals, and real results. But Duchess, you tell me. I am not as interesting as you. Oh, darling, I guarantee I'm much more boring in real life than I appear online. The point is not to be the most interesting person in the world. It is to be authentic and find people who resonate with your authenticity. As I always say, if you married a poor man, He is smart because he will not always find another fool like you to marry a poor man like him. And the same goes for your clients and audience. If you are being authentic, those who resonate with you will stay, and the others do not matter. Tip 4. Keep things simple. When you are starting this journey of making money, one of the smartest things you can do is keep things simple. You do not need a 12-step funnel, spend all that money on advertising, and have 20 different offers and products. The other day, a follower sent me her business plan. It had 87 pages. I asked, "Darling, how much time did you spend creating this document?" She said, 3 months. I replied, "And how much money has it generated for you so far?" She, "Well, none yet." Exactly. Keep your business or path to income simple, structured, and sustainable. I know many rich people have multiple streams of income. Almost all of them do, but they do not start that way. They build up to it. You make money by simplifying and becoming really good at one thing, or having one good offer first, or one good income stream first before moving on to the next. You do not do everything at once. When I started, my only source of income was Mr. Millionaire's credit card. Okay, that is not exactly a model for you to follow. But in my business, I started with just this YouTube channel. Only after mastering that did I add my online courses, then my product line, then my lectures, and so on. Here is what you really need: an offer that aligns with your genius. And remember, this can be broad. It is just anything people can say yes to. A way for people to buy or book, that is, how they will pay you for that offer. And lastly, a way to stay consistently visible. So, what is your visibility channel? This applies whether you are freelancing, building a personal brand, creating a product, or just wanting a bit of extra income. Keeping things simple and structured helps you show up with more clarity and confidence. And when everything is just overwhelming, you end up procrastinating or burning out. But Duchess, you say, "I want to do everything." Of course you do, darling. I also want all the Louboutin shoes in every color. But if I tried to buy them all at once, Mr. Millionaire's card would melt. Start with one pair, wear it well, then move on to the next. As I say to my puppy Chanel, one jewel at a time, darling, one jewel at a time. Tip 5, price your offer. Based on value, not fear. When you decide the price of your offer, remember, you are not charging for your time. You are charging for your expertise, your energy, and the transformation you provide. That is, for the value and benefit you bring to people's lives. I want to share an embarrassing secret. When I started selling my style consulting services, before marrying Mr. Millionaire, of course, I charged $50 per hour. $50! I charged the same as a teenage babysitter, while I was literally transforming women's lives, helping them present themselves as potential CEOs instead of assistants. One client got a $30,000 raise after my consultation, and I charged only $100 for 2 hours of my time. Ridiculous. It is never about the product or service itself. It is about the value, benefits, or transformation the person receives from that product or service. So, when pricing, ask yourself, what value does my product or service create for my clients? And what transformation do they have? A follower told me she was charging $200 per website. As a freelance designer, I asked, how much profit does that website bring to your clients? She replied, well, about $5,000 to $10,000 per month in sales. I said, and you are charging $200? Darling, you are literally the definition of underpricing. You need to charge at least $2,000, and that is still a steal for your client. And think about this. What would you charge if you were not afraid? What would you ask for if you fully trusted your value? If you were not afraid of rejection or people saying it is too expensive? Women tend to underprice their work out of fear. Fear that no one will pay. Fear that they are not good enough. Fear that someone will say, who does she think she is to charge that? Well, darling, I have a secret. Men also do not know what they are doing half the time, but they charge as if they did. And guess what? People pay. Stop charging below value to avoid discomfort. Price according to what you genuinely think it is worth. When you respect your value, others will too. As I always say, I do not know about you, but I never understood. This talk about money does not bring happiness. Obviously, whoever invented that never had enough money to verify the theory. Darling, that was a long video, I know. I hope you have absorbed all the value I shared here. Remember, wealth is not just about money. It is about living a life of abundance, comfort, and joy on your own terms. Let me recap the main lessons for your feminine journey toward wealth, without breaking a sweat. First, recognize the mental blocks keeping you poor. Much of this comes from social conditioning that you do not even realize you have. You deserve to be rich just as much as any mediocre man with excessive confidence. Second, become visible. It is impossible to make money if nobody knows you exist. Choose your channel and shine in it, allowing opportunities to come to you instead of chasing them. Third, align with your genius. Your natural talents are your ticket to abundance. The more you work in your zone of genius, the less like work it seems. Fourth, serve before selling. Focus on how you can add value, and money will naturally follow. As I always say, not for love, but for money. A relationship with your clients or audience works the same way. Fifth, take care of yourself. The feminine approach to wealth requires you to be in your best energetic state. Rest, self-care, and nourishment are not luxuries. They are requirements. Sixth, show up and act. All the visualizations, affirmations, and visions mean nothing without action. Stop planning and start doing. Seventh, create a channel for abundance. People need a way to pay you. Create your offer and make it easy for money to enter your life. Eighth, choose one visibility channel and master it. Less is more. Focus on one platform where you can shine consistently. Ninth, focus on connection, not just conversion. Money flows through relationships. Be yourself and connect genuinely. 10th, keep things simple. You do not need 20 different offers, you just need to do one thing very well. 11th, price based on value, not fear. You are not charging for your time, but for the transformation you provide. Do you know what is better than marrying a millionaire? Becoming one. And even if you eventually find a rich husband, long live Polo, having your own source of income means you can buy that Hermes bag without having to explain to your dear why you need another one. If you have not yet found your sugar daddy or your millionaire boy, the way is to stay here with me and learn to be rich on your own. I know your dream was to be born an heiress, but since that did not happen, be visionary. If you stayed until the end, leave your favorite green emoji in the comments below. Green for money, of course. And if you liked this video, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and leave your like. I left several links to rich products in the first pinned comment that you will love. Remember, rich and happy. Comment these words below if this video helped you in any way. I am Duchess Dollars, and I am here so you never again need to break a sweat trying to get rich.